What's going on, everybody? Stefan Coons here, and I am the host of the Everyday Pursuit podcast. Welcome. So, I talk about mindset a lot, okay? And I talk about it on this podcast. I talk about it with my clients. I talk about it with my family, and I talk about it with my friends. And the reason that mindset is really important is because I honestly do think it is the key to everything that you've ever wanted. And this is why. Perspective, right? The way we look at situations, whether it's our life, a current situation, a past situation, the way that we analyze it is literally everything. Literally everything. That's why people don't get along. Stay with me here. If something happens, right? Like we're going to war, you're going to have people, and the war is the war. You're going to have people that disagree. You're going to have people that agree. You're going to have people that are in the middle. Why? It's one thing. That thing's the constant, yet we all have a different perspective. And so it just shows that the way we view things really dictates our reactions and our actions to it, right? Which also dictates our emotions. And the reason, and this is important to follow, is because usually emotions don't happen unless there's an action, right? Like somebody cheats on me, then I get devastated and hurt and I'm all emotional, right? Somebody steals from you, then you're angry and you're scared. You usually don't wake up with random emotions from no action, usually, right? So that's something to understand. And this brings me into this episode, right? Which just is about struggling and succeeding, and then you rewind and then you repeat the whole process. And I follow a lot of people that are very successful in all types of areas of their life, right? But let's just talk about fitness for today. Actually, before I talk about fitness, I'm going to give you guys a perspective on things outside of fitness. So when I see any journey, right? Like anybody's journey with business, because I think business and fitness go really, really well together. It is always a struggle. And I can tell you from owning this business, like it has not been easy. I work a lot of hours. I work my butt off. I love what I do, but it's hard. And the only way that I could even get from where I started it to where it is now is by literally going through a struggle, succeeding, like overcoming that struggle. And then why you rewind and repeat is because it just happens over again. It's literally a never ending battle. And for some people that seems bad. Like, why would you want to just struggle, succeed? Oh, no, then there's another thing, struggle, succeed. And entrepreneurs, they make a joke to where like, the longer you're an entrepreneur, just the more problems you solve. Because that's all entrepreneurship is. It's like, or being a business owner, it's just seeing a problem, solving it, seeing a problem, solving it. And the more money you make, the more problems you get, but you become a better problem solver. And the reason I'm telling you guys that is because it's perspective. You might hear that and go, that sounds miserable. So you're just like always running into problems. Yeah, but if you knew that like, that's just how it is, there's no other way, it's just normal. Then your perspective's like, oh, it's not that bad. And the way that I ended up being okay with living a life like this is because it is just what it is. And honestly, it's the norm. But beyond that, I changed my perspective. And the reason that I want you guys to understand this before I dive into the fitness is to just show you an example of like, there's something that inherently people would look at like, wow, all you do is work, or you work all the time, or you work a lot of hours. But if my perspective is like, wow, I'm blessed to be able to have this job, and which I really do believe. And, you know, I do work a lot, but like, that's just what it is. That's just part of the job. I don't have to do this. Somebody's forcing me to. But if I want that, if I want what comes with it, if I want to help people, if I want to grow my business, if I want to make a difference in the fitness industry, this is just what I have to do. Totally fine. That's just what it is. Then instead of me being like, oh, I work so much or I'm missing out on this stuff, I'm like, no, it's just how it is. It puts it in a better perspective. If you've ever gone to college, right? I don't know if you have, but if you have, this is another perspective. When I was in college, I saw people that were just bitching about homework all the time. I have so much work and I'm so busy. And then probably like I was like that too. About a year in, I go, this is just what it is. I just don't have a life. I'm just busy all the time and I have homework. And that's just how college is if you want to do really well. And that's just what it is. And you just suck it up. And because I wanted to graduate with a high GPA, because I wanted to do really well, I just had to do it. And then I just got used to the grind. It wasn't even bad, because the only way that it's bad is when your expectations are different than your reality. That's when it sucks, right? You expect that it's going to be something and it's not. That is, and there's a saying that's really close to that. It's basically like the thief of happiness is when your expectations don't meet your reality. And that's true. Like you're expecting your life to be like this and it's not. That's where the disappointment comes. So what I did is I just said, I'm expecting that it's going to be tough. I'm expecting that I'm going to have no life. I'm expecting that all I'm going to do, shifting over to what I do now, I'm expecting I'm just going to work a lot. I'm expecting that I'm recording podcasts on a Sunday morning and I woke up at 5 a.m. That's just what I do. But now that I expect it, and people are like, dude, aren't you tired? Don't you burn out? Nope, I don't, because I expect it. In fact, a lot of times I look forward to it. Yes, I love what I'm doing, but I just have fully accepted that this is what it takes. This is the life. Maybe some people do it different, but for me, I'm okay. Now, I know other friends that do very similar things to what I do, and I think they struggle a lot and they feel like they're grinding because they expect that it's going to be easier and it's not. And that gap in between is what causes the issues. That causes them to be frustrated or to feel like it's not living up to what it's supposed to be. Now that I have all that on the table, hopefully it puts you in the mindset of fitness. And this will be really quick. You have to know the expectations of where you want to get. If you want to look like a bodybuilder, buckle up, buddy, because it's going to be a long journey. You're going to have to grind day in and day out. You will miss out on a lot of like quote unquote fun. I'm doing air quotes if you're not watching the Spotify video or YouTube. You're going to miss out on things. Your friend's like, oh, come drink with me. No, I don't want to. Or I can't, right? Oh, come out and eat with us and eat you don't want to have pizza? No, dude, I'm going to do I'm going to do the steak and the potatoes instead. You're going to like inherently, it seems like you're missing out. But if the bodybuilder, right, let's say he went from like not lifting to wanting to step on stage. If his goal, if what was important to him is the bodybuilding, fine. So he might not feel like he's missing out. But if he expects to still have fun and his expectations are like, oh, I'll still live my normal social life, everything will be the same. Every time that he gets tempted and he has to say no, or he's like, no, I'm not going to do that, whatever, it will suck. He will have FOMO because he feels like he's missing out because he expected that it was going to be easy and a cakewalk, or he would be able to keep the same friends or have the same social life, and he didn't. But if he goes in and he talks to a bodybuilder before he starts, and the bodybuilder's like, hey, I'm just going to let you know, this is what it takes. This is how many hours you got to spend a week in the gym. This is how diligent you have to be with your nutrition tracking, yada, yada, yada. List goes on. And then he's like, okay, cool. Now all that stuff that seems to be a negative and an inconvenience becomes the norm, right? And maybe even he looks forward to some of the parts that he previously would have looked at as shitty, but now he's like, well, they're already normal, right? So he already bumped it up. And then he might find things that he actually likes about the norm. So it really is all perspective. And the reason that it's really important that you guys understand this is because in your fitness journey, you need to know that it is always, always, always going to be struggle, succeed, you beat the struggle, and then you just start over again. That's it. It's literally 2 steps. I can't lose this weight, then you lose the weight. Now what? There's another struggle. Oh, I can't gain the muscle. Okay, then what do? You gain the muscle. And it's just as repeats over and over. And that's why I titled this episode this, because it's not complicated. It's what issue do I have right now? And it could be more than one, right? But they all lead back to one. What's the main issue? Then I have to solve it. And because life is life, and because we're not perfect or anywhere near perfect, we're going to keep having struggles. We're going to keep running into roadblocks. And it's not about the person that doesn't run into roadblocks, who has the easiest life. It's about the person who is the best at solving the problems, because problems are going to happen. You being avoidant for problems, like, well, I'm just going to create a life where I don't have as many problems. I'm going to create a life that's more comfortable, and then I don't have as much strife. That might be good, right? Like, it's not that shouldn't be a goal, but I think you would have a more successful, more fulfilled, happier life and be more successful on your fitness journey if you just took the perspective of like struggling and is just part of it. It's just part of the journey. And instead of asking for not having the struggle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask God or whoever to have the strength and ability to get past the struggle over and over and over and over, because like I say all the time, consistency is king, and it's just showing up. Now, you can't have consistent 20% effort. It's not going to get you where you want to be, right? Because some people go, oh, well, it's not about consistency. It's about consistent high effort. Yeah, but I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, right? You can't go and I put 20% effort in every day. No, I'm talking about like a valiant effort day in and day out. And it's hard. And that's why you don't walk around Walmart or Safeway or whatever store you go to and everybody's just jacked and ripped, because it's not easy, right? Like, it does take a lot of dedication. It does take time, and it takes the mindset of like, it's going to be a struggle and I'm going to have to like figure out how to overcome it. And then as soon as I overcome it in enough time, there's going to be another struggle. And that's how life is. That's not, and the reason that I think fitness is so important is because if you can get that down, it makes life easy, because that's literally how life is. Like, as soon as you think you're in a good place, what does life do? It punches you in your freaking face and you have another struggle over and over and over again. And the only people I see that really like fail at life are the people that give up, right? They think that, I've made it, I'm not going to struggle again. And then they get cancer, or then their mom dies, something, right? Life is full of struggles. So because you know it, and because we can't tell the future, and because you can't predict things, it is much better to just have the ability to get past the struggle. That way, if nothing bad happens, fantastic, right? It's like having a gun. You hope that by having a gun in your house, you never have to use it. However, if you do, you're really glad you have it. And that's how it is. It's like having the ability to get past that struggle. And so you need to lay out the expectations for yourself and understand. Now, the level of struggle is different for everybody, but it's a struggle nonetheless, right? Now, the only hack, I'm going to let you in on a little bit of hack. The only way that you can struggle less, I think, this is just what I've realized and what's helped me. The only way that you can struggle less is just by shifting your perspective. Because what's going to happen is going to happen. Now, the way you view it is what changes the struggle. Again, there's a disparity between like what you think should happen, right? What your perceived reality should be and reality. And that's what causes unhappiness. So if you can shift your perceived reality closer to reality, the struggle's less. Let me say that again. If you can shift your perceived reality closer to actual reality, the struggle's less, because it just seems not as bad. It doesn't seem like a struggle, right? That's the perspective there. And so that has helped me a lot. When I wake up and it's 5 a.m. and I'm tired, I'm like, it's okay. You're going to be tired. You're waking up at 5 a.m. That's what coffee's for. I'm like, man, I don't really want to work out today. Or I don't like, for me, I used to hate doing deadlifts and posterior chain. I don't know why. Used to hate it. And I'm like, you know what, Stefan? Although you might not like it, it is part of growing the body you want to grow. And inherently, like, if you do this, you'll get better at your other lifts, which you do enjoy. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I actually like doing that day. Didn't change it. Still doing the same workouts, still waking up at the same time, but I don't feel like it's as much of a struggle. And in fact, if you, over time, if you can sit there and change your perspective so well to where you don't have to have any mental battles to get yourself to do the things that you may hate right now, then you won. That's the only way to win the game. And I've seen it with clients before. They go, I hate the gym. I don't like the gym. I don't, whatever. I hate running. I hate cardio. All these things they don't like. And then a year later, 2 years later, they're in pretty damn good shape. And they're like, I like the gym. You've won, because now all those mental barriers and the struggles and like the things that you didn't want to do, and you had to have a mental battle every day, right? I'm going to go to the gym. I got to get myself to go. It's actually the opposite. Now they look forward to go. Now, if they miss a day, they crave the gym. That is the only way to actually kind of win and stop struggling. Now, you may be like, well, why does that even matter? Well, this is why. You could apply that into every area of your life. Every area. All the things that seem shitty right now and that you don't like and that are a pain in the ass, what if you could like them? What if you could look forward to them? Now, maybe like, you're like, dude, I hate the dishes. I'm never going to look forward to them. Maybe not. But what if the dishes were like, something you did look forward to, right? I'm just saying. Wouldn't that be awesome? Like, if you could legitimately be like, I can't wait to do the dishes. Probably never going to happen. Will never happen for me. But it might get to the point where I'm like, okay, the dishes are just like part of living in a house. I don't dread it anymore. So there's no conversation in your head that you have to have with yourself. Or there's no internal battle. There's just like, oh, the dishes are dirty. I'm putting them away. are putting them in the dishwasher. Oh, they're clean. I'm taking them out. Like you nothing it. You have no emotional attachment. It just needs to be done. So it gets done. Fine. It's just mood point. And that's a pretty good spot to be, because a lot of people are doing things that they don't inherently enjoy, but instead of just being like, oh, it's just what needs to be done, they're like, oh, this sucks so bad. And literally their perspective, and they think it's supposed to be awesome and it's not. And so, like I said, that disparity just ruins everything. So hopefully this episode was helpful for you guys. If it was, please go like, comment, and share. If you want to subscribe to the podcast, that would be awesome. And leave us a 5-star review if you feel like it's worth it. If it's not, tell us we suck. I'm open to feedback either way. But I want you guys to understand that it is going to be a struggle and you're going to have to succeed. And it's just a repeating process. If you feel that this episode was valuable too, please go share it with somebody. That helps us a lot. We don't run ads. It really is by word of mouth. It's just me alone in my studio, talking to you, taking time out of my day because I want to help you. And I hope that this episode sparks some type of action in you. Don't just listen to this and be like, oh yeah, it was really good. I'm super motivated. Then don't go do shit. That's not helping anybody, especially you, right? Like listen to this, understand, and then take a plan of action. And if you don't know, if you're super lost, hit me up. I will help you. One of our coaches will help you. But I make this because I care about you guys and I love you. So if you know somebody that needs to hear this, send it to them, tag them, share it on social media, do something, get it out there, because maybe this episode sucks, but maybe it's actually helpful and it makes sense and you've never thought about it this way. And now that I put it in perspective, and that's part of the reason I use a lot of analogies, is because I want you guys, I want the light bulb to click. And if I just am like, fitness, working out, but you can't relate to that, it might not make sense. But hopefully this episode made sense. And if it did, share it. I love you guys and I'll talk to you next time.